At this hour, coming up this afternoon, government of Ghana notifies the government of Togo of its decision to seek international arbitration to delimit the maritime boundary between the two countries under the framework of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. We'll give you details in a moment. Also coming up, the suspect in the Mamprobi baby theft case, Latifa Salifu, remanded into police custody for 14 days to reappear before the court on March 4, 2026. And later in the bulletin, we'll take you to Sekhiyoso, where the Municipal Assembly has ordered the immediate closure of a plywood manufacturing company following the death of a 22-year-old worker. We are live around the world on 3news.com. That's our website. We are streaming there as well as Facebook and on YouTube. So be a part of the show. Let's hear from you on what to make of the many stories we have for you this afternoon. News Central begins right now. My name is Martin Esidu Dati. Let's start from the health front. And the Health Minister, Kwabena Minta Akando, visited the Mamprobi Polyclinic Friday morning following the recent child theft incident which occurred at the facility on Tuesday, the 17th of February. The minister went there to assess the situation, engage hospital authorities, and gather first-hand information on the circumstances surrounding the incident. He spoke to the media after meeting with the MCE and the Member of Parliament for the area and the management of the polyclinic. He is expected to proceed to the residence of the mother whose baby was reportedly stolen. In a moment, we'll speak to my colleague Sarah Penkro, who is with the team, and we are told the minister is moving to a number of places. But let's listen exactly to what the minister said moments after his meeting with these key stakeholders.
Yes, to see them. We don't wait until things of this nature happen before the distraction that happens.
We all struggle for sure.
So please, let's increase our surveillance. I've directed the Director General. You see me here, we conducted me around the facility, and after that we had a closed door meeting with them. But what is very important is the measures we have put in place and we are putting in place to prevent the reoccurrence of this nature of incidents. If incidents of this nature happen, they lead to major reforms, and that is what I think is very important. We have still not come to the end of the investigations yet. It's one of the reasons why we had a behind-the-scene meeting. The investigations are ongoing. You can't preempt the investigations. So whether or not somebody will be held responsible, punished, sanctioned, it will come from the findings of the investigation. So since it's not been completed, I think that it will be very judicial.
And that's Health Minister Kwabena Minta Akando. Now he's moving to a number of places, more or less gathering information regarding what's been going on in the health sector. My colleague Sarah Penkro is on that tour with the minister and has joined us for a quick conversation. Sarah, thank you for your time. Where exactly are you at the moment with the minister and what has been going on?
The Minister of Health is currently in a closed-door meeting with the provost as well as the faculty members of the college. But earlier, the minister first visited the Mamprobi Hospital where the incidents of child theft happened on Tuesday, February 17th, to have first-hand information from management of the facility on what happened. He was taken around the facility. Management explained to him the circumstances that led to the incident and where measures they are being put in place currently to ensure there is no recurrence of the situation. The minister indeed interacted with them, asked them a few questions, and also went into a closed-door meeting with them to find out what they can be done and what the ministry can also do to assist in ensuring that the situation does not recur. Let's listen to the health minister after addressing the media, after the meeting with the management of the hospital.
For distraction that has increase our surveillance. I've directed the Director General that every health facility must have some kind of relationship with immediate police post. So the police must even be patrolling here as a line. So, or at the click of a button, you must get access to it. It must be that relationship. And the name cards, the CCTV cameras, they must always be working. Always. So there are other issues I want to discuss with you behind closed doors, and then let's all our best to make sure things will be better.
So we have the Minister of Health.
Right, so Sarah Penkro has been on a tour with the minister. So let's hear what she's been asking the minister.
Here joining us for this interview live on the Midday News. Honorable, you have earlier been to the Mamprobi Hospital to assess the situation. You are currently here at Korle Bu. What would be your assessment so far after visiting the hospital?
Well, so the management of the hospital conducted me around the facility, and they gave me first-hand information, and after that we had behind the scene or closed-door meetings with them. So far, I'm told the baby has been found, and investigations are still ongoing, and based on the outcome of the investigations, recommendations will be implemented. But one thing that is very important is that there were clear directives that were earlier on issued, and it is as a result of these directives that we are where we are now, that maybe we've been able to locate the baby. One is the fact that we have said over and over again that no health professional should go to duty or to go to work without clear identification. You must wear your name tag. Two, every health facility in this country must be they must have fully operational CCTV cameras. These are directives we have given long ago. Three, when babies are born, they must be clear tagging the mother and then the baby. And the tags are not supposed to be taken off at the ward. Tags are supposed to be taken off at the gate, at the security end. So they take off the tags off and they go and report to management. You understand? So these are directives. We must have, a complaint unit where telephone numbers are clearly displayed for people to complain about what they think they are not comfortable with for resolution. So these are directives that have been given earlier on. Again, we have also said that, look, going forward, we are going to give a formula for the disbursement of the internally generated funds. A formula. Nobody is going to take the money from the facility, but we are going to tell them how to use the money. This is because we have seen the rate at which our health facilities are deteriorating is an alarming rate. And so they must be maintained. So if you have internally generated fund, the ministry will tell you, look, you are using 20% for maintenance. You are using 20% for expansion, 20% for motivation. Clear formula going forward. If you have equipment, you have to ring-fence some of the money for the maintenance of the equipment or for the replacement of the equipment. If you have a bare land, we don't want to see a bare land with red soil. You either tar the place or pave the place or you grow grasses there. We understand if you don't have the money to do concreting or do pavement, but you should be able to grow grass and flowers to beautify the environment. So these are amongst other directives that we keep issuing and keep monitoring. And so I think that going forward, these directives will contribute to uplifting the sector.
Honorable, as you went there, it was evident you were not quite happy with the development. The hospital management also made some assertions regarding challenges they are having with infrastructure and all. We do not know what happened behind closed doors, but what is your commitment towards the challenges they address?
Government will continue to do its best. Expansion of infrastructure, provision of logistics, we will continue to do our best. But The fact is that we will not have all we need at the same time. And so all the time we need to, there's the need for prudent management of what we have, better management of the limited resources. That is key. I do not want to go into what happened, behind the scene or the closed doors. If I wanted you to be there, I would have invited you to be there. So that is restricted to them. And you see, as a minister, it is not everything that they can come and put out there. Even when you are rebuking your officers and what have you, sometimes you must do some of these things behind the scene. But I think that gradually we are getting there.
Thank you very much. You've been hearing from the Health Minister, Kwabena Mintah Akando, from the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, the College of Health Sciences. My name is Sarah Apenkro.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for that exclusive you had with the minister, who is following up on the shock story that hit the nation a few days ago about a baby that was stolen at the hospital. We are also told that in a related development, the lady in question who allegedly stole the baby, because it is still under investigation, we're told that she has been remanded for 14 days. Let's speak to Deborah Abba-Mensah, a colleague who's following the story for us. Deborah, thank you for joining us. What exactly is the information you have regarding this fresh twist to the story of the alleged baby thief being remanded?
Okay, no. So the case which involves the complainant in the Republic and the accused person, Latifa Salisu, the Republic was represented by Chief Inspector Ejiro Foku, and the accused was represented by Dr. Panishu Mohammed, who is her lawyer. So the state says they are not taking plea for the accused to be released since investigation is still ongoing. But the lawyer for the accused, Panishu Mohammed, says the accused also has children, a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old. So she is not going to take any risk to abscond or anything of that sort. So the state should take that plea to release her, and she's not been proven guilty. So she's innocent until she'll be proven guilty. But at the end of the hearing, the judge says that since the case is still under investigation, the accused should be remanded until investigation is done. So they are to reappear before court on the 4th of March, 2026.
This is Martin here, but what can you tell us about the body language of the lady in question? How was she reacting before even the judge gave that specific order?
Okay, so she was quiet. She was quiet. She was seated with another lady with a nose mask on. So she was just seated quietly. You can't really tell her facial expressions since she had a nose mask on, but you could feel she looked at now.
All right, Deborah, thank you for that update. And if you go to our website, 3news.com, you get all these developing stories about the alleged baby theft that happened a few days ago. And you can also let us know what you make of this story on our social media pages where we are streaming this bulletin. We're giving our attention to some other stories now. We're going straight to Parliament, where the House has ratified a memorandum of understanding between government, the GNPC, and other contract parties to extend the West Cape 3-Point and Deepwater Tunnel Petroleum agreements, respectively, from 2034 and 2036 to the 31st of December 2040. The agreement include a commitment of $2 billion of additional investment into the two contract areas, which will include the drilling of at least 10 and up to 20 new wells, with the development of necessary subsea infrastructure to support continued oil and gas production in the Jubilee and TEN fields. Government has justified the agreements on the grounds of safeguarding the continuity of upstream petroleum operations and sustaining production in mature fields. Continuity under the current arrangement will minimize transaction risks, preserve institutional memory, and prevent disruptions in production that could arise from premature license termination or operator replacement. What does all of this mean, really? Might sound a bit more technical than that. Let's try and walk you through what exactly all of this means and the numbers that are coming as a result of this. In a jiffy, we'll also speak to a technical advisor, the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, Dr. Yusuf, who's joined us. But to start with, these are the numbers that have been thrown out by government and the ministry. And it says that an estimated additional value that Ghana is expected to benefit is in excess of $374 million US. And the contract extension, based on what we have heard, has gone up until 2040. So the Jubilee fields has moved from 2034 to 2040, and then also the 10 fields from 2036 to 2040. So these are two separate wells and two separate timelines, but all of it is expected to end at 2040. These are the reasons government is giving to justify the contract extension, which is that production has fallen sharply since 2019. That was a peak season for us. And we are told that the decline was around 40 to 45%. So this continuation is expected, or this contract extension is expected to ensure that since 2018, when we last drilled, we will go and start drilling. And those who've already been in the system undertaking some of these operations can continue for purposes of continuity. So new investment and additional interest. Companies commit up to $2 billion in new investments. That's also what Ghana is also expecting from these partners that have appended their signatures to the contract. They should also drill up to between 10 and 20 new wells. Additional subsea infrastructure is expected to be developed, and then the state participation has also increased by 10% in both fields. The additional stake becomes effective from July 2036, and domestic gas pricing under the Jubilee GSA is also expected to reduce by 18%. So let's now speak to technical advisor at the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, Dr. Yusuf Sulemana. He's joined us via Zoom for a quick chat. Doc, it's been a while. Good afternoon, I should say. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon, Martins. It's been a while indeed, and thank you for having me.
Right. To start with, to the layman on the streets who's following issues of oil and gas development in the country, what does this contract mean?
Yeah, Martins, good afternoon once again to your cherished listeners and viewers in Ghana and across the globe. Yeah, so it means a lot, Martins. As you've just laid bare clearly the preamble, Ghana, we started oil production since 2010. And after we reached the peak in 2019, we've been having consistent decline over the years. And in field declines, the only panacea to field decline is investment. If you're unable to invest within your fields to maintain the plateau for a elongated period of time, they are bound to decline. And that's what we have. Actually, in Ghana, our plateau wouldn't stay longer period of time, then we begin to have the decline. So we have to have innovative ways, to be able to arrest the decline. And one of the ways is just to catalyze the investment. And Martin, if you notice, some time past, not long ago, these are our hardworking partners, the Jubilee partners, promised to invest about $2 billion within the fields. And what this will do is just to unlock the potentials of the fields. If you don't invest in the fields, you're going to have a problem. And this $2 billion is not lying somewhere that somebody's going to pick it as hard and come and invest. They also have to go and then, talk to their lenders. And so I see the extension as a catalyst to unlocking this massive investment that is needed to be able to put Ghana back to trajectory of arresting this continuous decline, and if possible, pick up production from where we left off in 2019.
Right, Doc, so should it be our understanding that our decline or our stale production period since 2019, like you're indicating, is as a result of lack of investment in the sector?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's largely due to that. And of course, one of the other reasons, we've been producing for 10 years, and more than 10 years. And so naturally, field will decline. They will lose their momentum. They will lose their energy. And so you will need to propel, you need to inject certain things into the field to rejuvenate the field. And the only thing that you can do to the field to give it back the energy is investment. You need to invest and invest. And so that's why I'm saying that, yes, if you look at it in any other different ways, yes, our fields are aging And that's how come the investment is even become so pertinent that we need that investment to be able to unlock the full potentials of the field to increase the production portfolio, especially now that oil prices are not in good shape. We only have to depend on the volumes. With enhanced volumes, I think we're going to gain a lot from our upstream portfolio.
Right. Talk to us about the investment expected from the partners. You mentioned $2 billion US, and then what else? Is it just pumping money into the sector? What specifics are we expecting to see now that the contract has been extended?
Yeah. So the specifics is, I think you've mentioned some of them. I mean, what we need to do is just to drill. It's just a drill. We continue to have to drill. And drilling a well is not a mean joke. It requires it requires capital investment. And what is interesting is the fact that, Martins, we have already seen that rejuvenation. We have already seen that renewed interest within the sector, where early this year, one well is already drilled. And then we are estimating, and the estimation is that this well is going to produce about 10,000 barrels of oil per stream day. We call it J79. And we already also have one within the horizon to be drilled. And so this year, the plan is to drill about 5 wells, 4 producers and 1 injector. And Martin, just do the calculation. Assuming each producer is to do like 10,000, that this particular well that is already drilled is promising to do. You can imagine that Jubilee, of course, will come back to its grand geo status, where it was doing closer to 100,000 barrels of oil per stream day. And we are estimating that with this renewed interest, that creation of that enabling environment that has revitalized the interest in the sector is beginning to yield results. And I want to actually commend the sector minister for taking this bold step to ensure that this particular GSA and petroleum agreement has been renewed. And then the extension is also giving a lot of momentum to the upstream players to know that, yes, Ghana is a credible player to deal with, and that's where we are.
Right. My 2 final questions before you take leave of us, Doc. How will this landmark approval impact the portfolio of the Jubilee partners, especially Tullow and Cosmos overall?
Hugely, Martins, I will say, if you follow closely, some of these are partners. I mean, though they are existing in Ghana, their stock exchange brightened somewhere else. Tullow, for instance, they are listed in London Stock Exchange. And so you can imagine this kind of need. And most of these stocks, they move based on this kind of sentiments. And I think this is going to rejuvenate Tullow portfolio, Tullow and Cosmos portfolio, respectively. And this morning, I just had a news that, I mean, Tullow has already reached a kind of an extension of their debt repayment plan. And that's even huge. So these things are the positive news that we're talking about, where you are supposed to pay your debt, let's say 2026, and they ask you that, okay, you're going to extend it to 2028. So what I will say is that this kind of news items, though it is localized in Ghana, but there is reverberating impact within the global space, so far as our portfolio, our upstream partners, Cosmos, Tullow, their portfolio within the upstream space is concerned. So yes, it will actually rejuvenate their portfolio, and I think we are beginning to see that.
Right, and with all, Doc, finally, with all this investment coming in, it should be safe to assume that Ghana still does have a good quantum of oil in the belly of the sea that we are going to be drilling. Is that a safe assumption?
Yes, that's it. That's a safe assumption. What we only need is to have the right environment to be able to invest into the fields, to be able to unlock this quantum of investment, and that's what we are seeing. And apart from this, I mean, within our own fields, let's say the Voltaire Basin, we plan to do a little bit of drilling within the Voltaire Basin in the last quarter of this year. So all these pieces of news, I think, attest to the fact that yes, it's a credible place to invest, and yes, we do have the hydrocarbon reserves. We only need to create the environment, which we have done, thanks to His Excellency and then the sector minister for creating this environment that has given these upstream players this huge momentum and boost. Yeah, so yes, Martins, I can say without any doubt that Ghana do have the potential, and we only need to get the credible partners to be able to partner with to champion our investment portfolio. And we are beginning to see that, Martins.
Right, thank you so much. Dr. Yusuf Sulemana is a technical advisor with the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. Always a pleasure talking to you. You're still watching News Central on TV3. Stay with us. We have many more stories for you right after this. Don't go away.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chese na me ankasa me period na se problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chese na nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me mogya
With us, we are always happy to hear from you. We have some news just coming in. Well, the President of the Republic is in and around the Ningo Pram Pram area, where he's with a number of dignitaries inspecting a heavy investment being made for the people in that enclave and for the good of Ghana. Let's get some updates on what exactly is happening in there.
The Managing Director of APSA Ghana. Shall we do a big round of applause for him? We also duly acknowledge the presence of the Managing Director of Ecobank Ghana, Abnal Seipoku. Please do a big round of applause. We say a very big welcome as well to the Managing Director of Fidelity Bank Ghana, Mr. Julian Opuni. Dr. Mary Awusi is the CEO of the Ghana Free Zones Authority. Please do a big round of applause. Dr. Simon Maji is the CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC. Oh yeah, sure. On another very light note, I know E-Tech will become Mr. Simon Maji. Mr. Simon Maji, the CEO of GIPC. Shall we do one more big round of applause? The acting CEO of the Energy Commission, who are also very excited at very major chapter in our history, is here. Adjoa Bonzi, the acting CEO. As we go along, we'll be doing some more acknowledgements. But at this time, I'd like to welcome here the students of DPS International to perform for us a very beautiful dance. Shall we do a big round of applause as we welcome them?
Right, so that program is live, and I will be bringing you updates as when the president addresses the gathering. But for those of you who are just joining us, what you just saw a few minutes ago is the commissioning of a B5 Plus Limited steel ball mill and section mill. And it's a manufacturing plant that is expected to support Ghana's industrialization and manufacturing agenda. So we'll update you on how it plays out. Away from that, though, this afternoon, the Minister for Energy, John Jinapor, has convened an urgent meeting with the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies and the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors following their strong objection to the alleged diversion of funds from the Liquefied Petroleum Gas Fund, or the LPG Fund, to the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company. The two industry bodies had earlier described the reported reallocation as a flagrant breach of statutory mandate and a dangerous sabotage of national energy policy. The LPG Fund was established under Legislative Instrument 2262, amended, and LI 2481, and implemented by the National Petroleum Authority with three legally binding objectives. According to COMAC and the bulk oil distributors, these objectives are non-negotiable and were never intended to serve as discretionary capital for ad hoc allocations. The chambers argue that redirecting funds to the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company undermines the legal framework governing the LPG sector and threatens critical safety interventions, including the withdrawal of unsafe cylinders and the national or nationwide rollout of the CRM. They warn that such a move could jeopardize private investments worth billions of cedis, endanger thousands of jobs across the LPG value chain, and potentially increase cost for consumers. In response to that and to their concerns, the Energy Minister has moved swiftly to engage industry stakeholders in what sources describe as a high-level dialogue aimed at clarifying the situation and restoring confidence within the sector. So the two bodies, COMAC and bulk oil distributors, have outlined what they call non-negotiable corrective measures, including a number of reformations expected. Let's now speak to Benjamin Nsia, who is the Executive Director for the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for joining us on News Central.
Good afternoon.
So you have reservations about the reallocation of these funds. How does that amount to a breach of the legislative instrument? Because the minister sought to justify the decision.
So first of all, I don't think there's any diversion of funds to Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company. They are entitled to these funds anyway, as established by the LI, the manufacturing company that manufactures cylinders to support the cylinder circulation model, just like Sigma and other cylinder manufacturing companies. They are entitled to the $36 per metric as established by the airline for cylinder investment. So I don't see any diversion. I think what the ministry did was an upfront funding for the companies to be able to retool and also recapitalize for efficient production of cylinders to support models as being implemented. One of the critical challenges affecting the model is the lack of cylinders to roll out the model. And I think that over the years we imported new cylinders into the country. So this government intends to stop the importation of these cylinders and begin to manufacture them locally, thereby supporting the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company with this $7 million upfront capitalization. So I don't see the challenge in this because we are already a beneficiary of it. I think what COMAC and the Steamboat should do is also entreat their members to also present proposals to also get some form of funding or capitalization to also expand their production in terms of manufacturing these cylinders. Because as I indicated on other platforms, these are idle funds in the coffers of FTA. We've been paying for the cylinder recirculation margin since April 2024. As at September 2025, the fund had accumulated over 590 million Ghana cedis. And these are idle funds because the funds are expected to be expended based on performance from the sector service providers. Yet, the performance is less than 1% of the LPB distributed across the country. So what it means is that if we have about 593 million Ghana cedis sitting in a bank account, it is only 1% of that must go to service providers. So the other funds are idle. And I think that COMAC and the Steamboat should know this by treating their members to also seek support for this fund than alleging that there's been diversion or misappropriation of this fund. I don't see any diversion. I think that the ministry wants to support the effective implementation of the cylinder recirculation model, thereby equipping Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company with the needed resources to be able to manufacture the numbers of cylinders needed for this effective implementation of this model.
Right. So should it be our understanding that in as much as you have reservations about how government diverted these funds to support the cylinder recirculation module, you would rather that the CRM finds other ways, or the cylinder manufacturing institution itself finds other ways of generating its funds rather than a separate fund being used to support its operations?
But there are two ways that we could use the funds. One is to maybe reimburse the consumer that contributed to the fund. And I don't think that government is ready to reimburse the consumer. It's an upfront payment by the consumer. So the other ways that government will look at is how do I utilize these funds effectively, either for the private sector or for the public sector. And by start, the government has decided to support the public sector. That is why I indicated earlier that for effective implementation of the model, if the private sector also thinks that they need some form of funding from government to be able to manufacture more cylinders for effective implementation of the model, they can also present proposals, and I think the government will look at that because these are idle funds in the coffers of NPA, and if you don't utilize them, it means that some operators or some employees of NPA who manage these funds may be utilizing it ineffectively in future. And I think that should be the focus of COMAC. We must utilize the funds which have been idle for the past 2 years. How do we utilize it? To really support the private sector? How do we support the private sector? Are we supporting the public sector? How are we supporting the public sector with these funds? And I think government thinks that supporting the public sector is key. They must also write to government that it is also incumbent on it to also support us, because these are idle funds anyway. And I think that should be the focus of COMAC. At the end of the day, we all want to achieve one objective, to increase the penetration of LPG by 50% by 2030. As we speak, LPG consumption has declined from 37% to 22%, comparing both data published by the Statistical Service.
Okay. Mr. Benjamin Nsia, thank you for your time and the new argument you bring to this conversation. We'll see what government's position will be going forward. To some other stories this afternoon. Government of Ghana has formally notified the government of Togo of its decision to seek international arbitration to delimit the maritime boundary between the two countries under the framework of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The decision follows 8 years of bilateral negotiations, which, despite sustained engagement, have not resulted in a mutually agreed outcome. In a statement, the spokesperson of the President and Minister for Government Communication, Felix Kwakye Ofosu, explained that Ghana has taken this step to prevent further escalation of incidents that have created tensions between certain institutions of the two countries, while promoting an amicable and lawful resolution in the spirit of good neighborliness and continued cooperation. It would be recalled that Ghana faced a similar situation when Cote d'Ivoire staked a claim to part of Ghana's offshore a year after the discovered oil in commercial quantities in June 2007. Following 10 failed bilateral talks between the two countries in 2014, Ghana decided to turn to ITLOS to protect the country's interest and that of oil companies who had invested millions of dollars in the exploration of oil at some of the disputed areas. And the last part of the statement, where Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire had that arbitration, the final decision went in the favor of Ghana. So we are hoping to see that this new one, which is also an international arbitration between Ghana and Togo, well, as a Ghanaian, I hope it goes in our favor, but we'll see what the United Nations institution will say going forward. Let's talk about the sub-region. And West African ministers of state have convened a meeting to address underrepresentation of women and youth in leadership. Leaders caution that this exclusion is not merely a gap, but a dangerous democratic shortfall and a missed opportunity for transformative progress.
Efforts are ongoing to break barriers and chart bold pathways where women and young people are not passive participants, but powerful leaders and decision makers. West African lawmakers and ministers are in Accra to determine practical solutions to ensuring this becomes a reality. According to Sierra Leone's Gender and Children Affairs Minister, Dr. Issata Mahoy, no democracy can thrive when half of its citizens, mostly women, remain excluded.
The voices of women and young people are indispensable to the future of our democracies. This imbalance undermines the very principles of equality, justice, and sustainable development that ECOWAS stands for. This consultative meeting is therefore a call to action. It is an opportunity to, one, examine the barriers, legal, cultural, economic, and institutional challenges that hinder women and young people from fully engaging in politics.
Ghana's Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Dr. Agnes Namomolati, says the initiative will compel countries to act, ensuring women and youth are no longer sidelined.
What we want to do is to move this meeting from talking to action. When you look at the continent, ECOWAS no exception, you realize that most of the populations are youth and women. And so if you plan and have activities without them, then you realize that you have gaps in terms of implementation of some of the conventions and things we have signed on at the region and sub-regional level.
As ECOWAS marks 50 years, leaders say the future of democracy depends on inclusivity, with a roadmap tied to Africa's Vision 2063 and the UN's global goals.
This is still News Central on TV3. Stay with us. We have many more stories for you right after this. Welcome back to News Central. Let's find out what's happening elsewhere around the country. The Sesirioso Municipal Assembly has ordered the immediate closure of Dongfeng Plywood Manufacturing Company in the area following the death of a 22-year-old worker. The decision comes amid allegations of poor workers' safety standards and neglect of workers' welfare. This follows intelligence-led investigations done by TV3 at the facility, which revealed serious lapses in occupational health and safety measures. The municipal chief executive, who visited the facility, reaffirmed the Assembly's commitment to safeguarding the lives of workers, particularly the youth. The Assembly says inspections will be intensified in the coming weeks, warning that companies found in breach of safety regulations will face immediate closure. Matthew Ahiave joins us now for an update on this particular story and the concerns being raised by workers over the dehumanizing conditions under which some of them have been working. Matthew, thank you for your time. First of all, can you confirm that actually the company has been shut down, and what are the workers telling you?
Okay. Martin, good afternoon. Yeah, it's true. Dongfeng Plywood Company has been shut down temporarily by the municipal chief executive of Sesirioso. This follows an intelligence investigation TV3 did when a worker reported an incident of how the workers are being treated at the company. So when we went there together with the MTE, we made it clear to the workers that because of the way they are treating them, that led to the death of a 22-year-old lady. He is stepping in as the MTE or as the power invested in him by the president to close down the place. So, speaking to some of the workers, they expressed their displeasure on how the company have been treating them. Let's listen to what some of the workers have been saying.
Matthew, we've been speaking with some of the residents there. What exactly are the key concerns they've been raising?
Okay, some of the concerns they've been raising is when the workers get injured, the company, instead of taking care of them medically, they will rather drive them home to go and take care of themselves. And aside that one, some complain of the company not paying their mates and all that, and others also complain on the monies they agreed on are not being paid exactly what was the agreement.
Right, so let's listen to some of the residents who've been talking to our correspondent.
Then for do almost just day, we tell you metal flu sicker. Into a stram mono moncasa and fire and on my. Okay, that's it. Number 250 cities. You are probably a year and this is not in basic cities. 1 million. And I just said, running 3%.
Basically, as part of my working visit to the various institutions and installations within the municipality, I started this exercise somewhere last year. And in continuation, we are here at the TLS company, which basically produces plywoods. And so we came here purposely to inspect and know how safety precautions are being adhered to.
Right, so that's a report by Matthew Ahiave, our Western North Regional Correspondent. Now, as a measure to address developing gaps, especially with education, health, water and sanitation in the Kumbungu district, and in line with the directive on utilization of District Assembly's Common Fund, the Kumbungu District Assembly, led by its District Chief Executive, in 2025 rolled out a total of 16 projects, including classroom blocks, CHIPS compounds, and water facilities. With some of the projects completed and others nearing completion, the Assembly believes it is on track to addressing the development gaps in the district. The Kumbungu district is one of the 16 metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies in northern Ghana. Let's speak to Christopher Marco, our correspondent in the north, who has visited a number of the project sites and has joined us. Chris, thank you for your time. First of all, paint a picture for us. How important are these projects to the general development of the area?
Yes, so Marina, we know that the poverty levels in the Kumbungu district is high. We also know that the developmental gap is also high. And so the Assembly, as an agent of development, is trying its best to ensure that development gets to every corner of the district. So last year, the Assembly began rolling out some developmental interventions when it comes to education, health, water, and sanitation. As we speak, a number of the projects have been completed and others nearing completion. The Assembly, led by its District Chief Executive, took a tour of some of the projects and have expressed satisfaction in the way and manner the contractors have executed this project. Ultimately, the projects are supposed to break some gaps, especially when it comes to education, moving some schools from under trees to classrooms, and also ensuring that dilapidated structures are renovated for student use. Let's take a listen to what the District Chief Executive and other stakeholders in the district have been telling us on this developmental interventions.
What this is, I can say that so far, so good. Yes, there are a lot of challenges. And when it comes to education, we've done our best. When it comes to health, we've done our best. Our major challenge now is about the roads, how to open out the communities. The feeder roads and the town road is a major problem. So we are always in touch with feeder roads, highways, and then the urban roads. You could see that in Kumontan, you could see some roads open. The urban road, they came and did it. So the road network is a challenge, but we are on call, we are on it. All what you are seeing today is 2025 program. 2026, we are yet to roll out.
Right, Chris, thank you for that report. And clearly it's a matter of concern, especially for people living in and around that enclave. Christopher Marco is our Northern Regional correspondent, also covering the Savannah region for us. So we're taking a step back to our earlier story having to do with the President and some ministers of state at the commissioning of the B5 Plus Limited steel ball mill and section mill, which are manufacturing plants. His Excellency the President is there. We are told that the Minister in charge of Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, is addressing the gathering. Let's join the feed now.
Because steel is not just another commodity. Steel is fundamental to everything. A strong steel base industrial cannot be sustained. This is why strategic investments such as this new facility are fully aligned with government's broader industrial and economic agenda. Ghana has significant iron ore deposits in OT, Upper East, Northern and Western regions. They have remained largely undeveloped for decades. And by God's grace and by the leadership of President Mahama, will change. Government is committed to developing a fully integrated iron and steel industry in Ghana, one that connects upstream oil development with downstream steel manufacturing. This is where Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development Corporation, GISDEC, comes to mind. To the board and management of B5, I want to encourage 5 Plus to strengthen your collaboration with GISDEC to ensure alignment with our national strategy. sustainable raw material planning and coordinated sector growth. I also want that backward integration will secure reliable raw material supply, strengthen Ghana's value chain, and create additional employment and increase foreign exchange. As we celebrate its expansion and growth, we must also take note of our responsibilities. Industrial growth must be inclusive, workers and the nation at large. It must also be sustainable, protecting the environment for future generations. And industrial growth must be compliant, respecting the laws and regulations that protect our people and our planet. Because when the industry grows responsibly, everybody wins. Government is to support responsible investors prepared to unlock Ghana's iron ore industry. Our objective is very clear. Iron ore process is to be a stronger that has eluded us for years. I thank you. May God bless our homeland, Ghana.
We're grateful to you, Honorable Emmanuel Amakufibwa, who is the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. Shall we do a big round of applause for him? It's now my pleasure to welcome here the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, who also serves the people of the Techiman North constituency as their Member of Parliament. Of course, a day like this is one which is very key for her in terms of collaboration and in terms of achievement. And as being one who is very passionate about the industrialization agenda of the government, today marks a very important chapter in her work. With a big round of applause, please help me welcome the Honorable Elizabeth.
Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, Ministers of State, Members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, CEOs, hearing President, the Chairman, Management, and staff of B5+ Limited, great captains of industry, friends from the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is with great honor and profound pleasure that I welcome His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, great President of the Republic of Ghana, to the sacred town of Lapleku in the Ningo Pram area, a community that is steadily emerging as a vibrant hub for transformative industrial development. Your Excellency, in a remarkably short period of just a year, your government reset agenda has visibly revitalized and reshaped Ghana's industrial progress, investment, and opportunity across the nation. For this remarkable achievement, we proudly say, Ayiko Mo Ni Adwuma. As the Minister responsible for trade, agribusiness, and industry, I stand here today with a deep sense of purpose. Our ministry's mandate is to work hand in hand with private sector, from ideation to policy design, to factory floor and market access. Today, that journey has brought us to this significant milestone, the commissioning of Phase 2 of B5+ steel plant. Your Excellency, the commissioning of Phase 2 plant is a moment I have personally looked forward to. Through the policy engagement to the groundwork laid by this company, my ministry has had a front row seat to the determination and resilience that has made today possible. It is immensely gratifying to see that determination translate into concrete steel and commissioned machinery. When I assumed this portfolio, one of my first priorities was to assess the state of our industrial base, what was working, what challenges persisted, and what foundations needed urgent reinforcement. The findings were yet brimming with potential. Possesses abundant human capital, strategic market access, and entrepreneurial drive, qualities that position us to become a major industrial force. What has often been lacking is policy coherence, secure access to high-quality raw materials, and a government prepared to hold this intervention. Your Excellency, you have all these answers. Let's one of consequential intervention of the government of H.E. John Dramani Mahama is to feed the industry under the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, which I proudly lead. This is a structured approach to ensuring that domestic available raw materials, particularly metals and agro-produce, are directed first to our local processors rather than form. For scrap metals that could be furnaces of plants like this one were being shipped overseas, depriving local manufacturers of critical inputs and forcing foreign exchange of what was already available at our doorstep. I wish to commend His Excellency the President for the bold decision by Cabinet to ban the export of non-ferrous materials. This is a big feather in your cap, Your Excellency. This decisive intervention is already redirecting vital feedstock to local industry, and it has given feed the industry program the teeth it needs to deliver real results. Beyond raw materials, my ministry is also focused on creating the high market condition for our manufactured goods to be completed. Through the Accelerated Export Development Program and Made in Ghana initiative, we are currently facilitating access to the regional continental market under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. A facility like this one, which has the capacity to supply not just Ghana, but the wider sub-region, is precisely the kind of enterprise that benefits enormously from expanded markets under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Your Excellency, during my recent engagement with exporters and steel manufacturers, several critical concerns were highlighted, including persistent delay in payment from neighboring countries and various non-tariff barriers that continue to hinder smooth cross-border trade. I wish to assure you and the entire business community that we have already initiated high-level discussion with my counterpart ministers across the sub-region under your direction. These engagements are promising and progressing steadily, and we are confident that meaningful resolution will be achieved in the near future, paving way for more predictable and barrier-free regional trade. We have been deliberate about running a responsive ministry, one that is genuinely open to industry and attentive to specific operational challenges. Some others are concerned with electricity tariff and land. I am so excited today, Your Excellency, to have under one roof the Minister for Energy, the Minister for Land, whom I have initiated discussion to resolve these programs. Even as you give it up to them, the results will come very quickly. Your Excellency, I'm also pleased to highlight a significant financing win for the sector. Following active engagement with the Ministry and the Bank of Ghana, the validity period for repatriation of export proceeds has been extended from 60 to 120 days. Your Excellency, this is making our industry very competitive on the international market. Hitherto, when you exported your goods outside of town, you were supposed to repatriate all the export proceeds within 60 days. So our industries could not compete by giving longer credit. Now the negotiation between the Ministry of Ministry of Trade and Agribusiness and the Bank of Ghana has yielded a 120-day relief for industry. Before I conclude and give way to the proceedings, I wish to place on record the Ministry's deep appreciation for the support of the traditional authorities and the people of Lapleku. Hosting industrial investments of this scale requires patience, goodwill, and a long-term outlook. To the hard-working workers of this facility, you are the ones who convert investment into outputs and policy into products. The Ministry is committed to ensuring that Ghana's industrialization serves you well, with dignified employment, skills development, and opportunity for advancement. Finally, to the board, management, and stakeholders of B5+ Limited, heartfelt congratulations on this proud milestone. You have shown what becomes possible when entrepreneurial courage aligns with a supportive policy environment like the one created by Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I urge you to keep expanding, innovating, and setting the benchmark for Ghanaian industry, especially in the area of the 24-hour economy. I thank you very much.
We're grateful to Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu Ejare, who is the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. We'd like to once again say big greetings to all friends who are watching this historic commissioning live on the Joy News channel, on GTV, the station of the nation, and also TV3, plus many other streaming platforms on various social media handles. At this time, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Country Director of the IFC, Mr. Carl Kalofa. The Bank of Ghana have a strong team representing the Governor, made of the Director of External Facilities Projects Administration, Mrs. Emilia Awuviri, ably supported by Mr. Kwesi Owusu, who's an Assistant Director. We acknowledge the presence of the CEO of the Minerals Commission of Ghana, Mr. Isaac Tando. The UNDP is represented here today by Mr. Niloy Banerjee. Also, we duly acknowledge the presence of a Deputy Chief of Staff of the Presidency of Ghana, Your Excellency. We also duly acknowledge the presence of Senior Presidential Aide, Mrs. Joyce Bawa Mokhtari. Shall we do a big round of applause for her? And now, Your Excellency, distinguished guests, Neneme, Naname, good people of Ghana, as we get closer and closer to the much-awaited commissioning speech of the First Gentleman of the land, it gives me much pleasure to welcome here to the podium a fine gentleman who is easily described as a business leader, a visionary, an industrialist, and a philanthropist. Over the years, in terms of businesses, he has distinguished himself amongst many, not only because he's able to dream, but because he's able to actualize the dreams by driving people to get to work. Today, we sit on a piece of land which has now become a strategic point in the turnaround story of the economy of Ghana. It is not by accident that the whole business community in Ghana, especially the industrialists, decided to vote him and confer on him the position of Vice President of the Association of Ghana. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please help me with applause to welcome the chairman of the B5+ Group, Mr. Mike Mukesh Thakwani. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are the man.
Yeah.
So after you speak, we'll do the video.
Hey, you can show the video now.
While you are playing, while you're talking.
No, you can show it now. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Elizabeth Ofusu, Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Honorable Emmanuel Armand Kofi Boa, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Sam Nate George, our MP, Member of Parliament for Ningo Prampram, Honorable Minister of Energy, Dr. John Abdullah Jinapur, His Excellency Charge d'Affaires, Indian High Commissioner to Ghana, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished captains of industry, development partners, our dear chiefs and queen mothers, esteemed members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all existing protocols observed on this historic event. It is with deep humility and immense pride that I stand before you today as B5 Plus commissions yet another milestone in Ghana's industrial journey. The steel ball mill and textile mill manufacturing plant and the expansion of our engineering PEB fabrication systems, a strategic facility aligned with Ghana's industrial under Your Excellency's visionary 24 hours economy policy. Today is not merely the opening of a factory, it is the expansion of Ghana's industrial frontier. It is the strengthening of local manufacturing capacity. It is the deepening of value addition within our mining and construction sectors. Your Excellency, everything you see here, from works to the structure fabrication, from electrical installations to the way bridges, the automobile centers, the residential facilities and factory structures has been designed, fabricated and constructed by Ghanaian hands in Ghana, 100% made in Ghana. Only the machinery was imported. The vision, execution, engineering and commitment are Ghanaians. This is what industrial confidence looks like. With this commissioning, B5 Plus now produces all type of structure steel sections, grinding media balls for the mining industry, expanded pre-engineering building, fabrication facility, heavy industrial structures including warehouses, tankers, trailers and factory systems. Your Excellency, Ghana is one of Africa's leading gold producers. Yet, the true measures of national prosperity is not only what we extract from beneath our soil, but what we build above it. Today I speak as a lecturer, but as a Ghana-based industrial partner committed to advancing your vision of an economy that works around the clock by local production, local talent and local ambition. This is more manufacturing. It is a foundation of a self-reliant industrial base and a mining nation. Across Ghana, the annual requirement of grinding media balls exceeds 200,000 metric tons. Ghana alone has the industrial capacity to produce over 200,000 tons per annum, with B5 Plus currently having a capacity of 120,000 tons annually. Yet, Ghana's consumption stays at approximately 70,000 tons per annum and a significant portion continues to be imported. Your Excellency, this represents an opportunity. We respectfully propose stronger protective measures for local industry, including enhanced anti-dumping duties on imported grinding media balls and steel products, or where appropriate, structured restrictions to ensure that Ghanaians' manufacturing capacity is fully utilized before considered. This is not protectionism, this is strategic industrial policy. B5 Plus has proudly served Ghana's mining sector for more than 2 decades. We have become backbone of the mining supply chain, not by privilege, but by performance. Our grinding media balls supplied to Goldfields have consistently exceeded performance expectations, where the industry target consumption rate stood at 720 grams per ton. Our products achieved approximately 702 grams per ton, saving 18 grams per ton and delivering measurable consumption efficiencies of nearly 3% extra advantage. The context in grinding media lower consumption is better. It means longer and delivery of core processed. This is Ghanaian manufacturing delivering global standards. Ghana fabricated. Today, B5 Plus is not only steel producer, we are the producers of entrepreneurs' excellency. We are proud of that. With branches across major regions of Ghana, we serve real estate developers, mining companies, oil and gas operations, fabricators, distributors and retailers, contractors and users. We are a true industrial steel hub. We employ directly and indirectly over 15,000 Ghanaians, contributing significantly to domestic growth and foreign exchange retention. For over a decade, we have proudly remained a member of Ghana Club 100, demonstrating consistency, quality and economic contribution. Our operations are Kaizen-driven and certified by TUC Nord Germany, reflecting global production standards. We received multiple awards, nationally, regionally, and internationally, for excellence in manufacturing, service delivery, and innovation. Your industrialization must be sustainable. B5 Plus has commissioned a 16.5 megawatt rooftop solar power plant already operational. An additional 16.5 installation is underway, bringing total renewable capacity to 33 megawatt by year end. For self-consumption only, powering our manufacturing operations with clean energy. This demonstrates that heavy industry and green transition can coexist. B5 Plus believes industry must uplift society. Free national blood exercises, educational sponsored programs, support to sports and community institutions. During COVID-19, we supplied oxygen to government and private hospitals for over 25 months. Education is especially close to our heart. International School was planted. Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial College, King's College, UC, flying Ghana's flag high globally. We now seek land allocation to establish a police station to enhance security and safety. We have requested our Honorable MP, Sam George, to allocate land for police station and a school as well as daily 5,000 daily workers and the persons they move around this facility. To secure this infrastructure is essential. Under Your Excellency's agro-industrial agenda, B5 Plus is committed to expanding into large-scale industrial agriculture, contributing to food security and value chain. Industry and agriculture must grow together. Your Excellency, to scale to the next level and fully support the 24 hours economy, we respectfully request strategic policy support. Large-scale industrial equipment and key raw materials require fiscal incentives to remain competitive regionally. Access to domestic scrap from public institutions will strengthen local steel recycling and reduce imports. Currently, raw materials and finished grinding media balls are tax 5%. This weakens local value addition. In Asia, finished exports are incentivized. Ghana must protect its manufacturers. We request anti-dumping safeguards. Our products Ghana can already produce, not only for Ghana, but for the export market as well, with international quality standards. Products like rebars, nails, binding wire, galvanized mesh, wire mesh, PB structures, grinding media balls, tankers, and many more. Without protective measures, unfair imports undermine domestic industry. Your Excellency, B5 Plus is one of the leading manufacturers of pre-engineering buildings, rebars and structural steel in West Africa and among the largest on the continent. Yet, we continue to see prefabricated structures and steel products entering the mining sector and private sector, often with exemptions, despite the availability of world-class local alternatives. Every unnecessary import represents foreign exchange leaving Ghana, jobs not created locally, and industrial capacity underutilized. We respectfully urge stronger enforcement of local content policy to ensure that Ghanaian manufacturers are given first consideration. Steel manufacturing depends on scrap and its primary raw material. We also urge the captains of industry present here today to create the synergy. Let us engage in intertrade, support one another, prioritize goods produced right here in Ghana. When we buy from each other, we build each other. Despite holding valid land titles, we continue to face operational challenges. We are really grateful to our Honorable Minister of Trade and Industry, Elizabeth Afuso Azare, and our Honorable Minister, Honorable Sam George, our MP for Ningo Prampram, and the Minister of Communication for their assistance. Their consistent assistance has been given that able to run to this level, and with their support, we are trying to see the long-lasting solution for the land issues we are having here. Very much, Honorable Ministers, our Agro Minister, our Industrial Minister, and our Honorable Sam George. We express our deepest gratitude to Northern, Stanchart Bank, EcoBank, APSA, UBA, and our other financial partners whose confidence in our vision has been instrumental in our growth. We also thank our suppliers, our valued customers across all industries, and most importantly, our dedicated workers. This achievement would not be possible. Your Excellency, B5 Plus is not waiting for the already operate within it with your blessings. We stand ready to expand capacity, save millions in foreign exchange, create thousands of additional jobs, deepen local beneficiation, position Ghana as a steel and fabrication hub in West Africa, ready to contribute momentarily to the big push agenda. We are prepared to partner government fully in building a self-reliant industrial Ghana. Ghana has the resources, Ghana has the entrepreneurs, Ghana has the industrial ambition. Under your leadership, Your Excellency, Ghana can move from being merely a mining country to becoming a mining-powered industrial nation. Let us build our mother Ghana together. Let us manufacture what we consume. Let us export what we produce. Let us create jobs with dignity. Let us transform local content into national prosperity. Long live Ghana, long live Ghanaian industry, and may God bless our homeland Ghana. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you.
Arduous journey with a lot of determination and with a lot of wit and bringing the whole team together. Shall we all appreciate
Mr. Mike Mukesh Fakwani with another big round of applause. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, days like these are great days of pride for parents. And today we're glad to acknowledge the presence of Madame Pameshwari Takwani, the mother of our chairman who is here with us. Shall we do a big round of applause for her? The many years of training have resulted in growing of this country's foremost industrialists and businessmen. Also, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Deputy Managing Director of CalBank, Mr. Johnson Oware. Shall we do a big round of applause? At this time, I would also like all of us as a collective to do one very big round of applause for the hard-working staff of B5+. You are the men and women who make it happen. Shall we do a big round of applause for them? And now, before the much-awaited commissioning speech, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to once again welcome the very talented kids of DPS International School to start things off with a special performance. Shall we welcome all of them with another big warm round of applause?
Put your hands together.
परदेसी नूं तैनूं नित दा रोना पै जाऊगा नाल जोगी तैनूं जोगण होना पै जाऊगा परदेसी नूं तैनूं नित दा रोना पै नाल जेठे जोगी दे तैनूं जोगण होना पै जाऊगा come to the dance floor, make we dance. Don't leave me, I want it. Come closer, I want it. The way you make my body bounce. Why not for me, oh, oh. Baby, shake down for me, oh, oh. As if you really want to show, oh, baby, show me, just show me your move. Make wanna start to break your body, go mind from the front to the center. See the bust and move, we are tracking more. See the song to me. See the car run this thing with the back body, so body. See the vibe to the team, we move to the group, baby, bust down. Show me your head. Make wanna start to break your body, go mind from the front to the center. See the bust and move, we are tracking more. See the song to me. See the car run this thing with the back body, so body. See the vibe to the team, we move to the group, baby, bust down. Show me your head. Everybody, call somebody, why your body, why your body. Everybody dance on to the number one song. I love that thing, make you know the beginning. If you're welcome, we should do that thing. We go play another thing. Show me, just show me your move. Make wanna start to the break your body, the wine from the front to the center. See the bust and move, we are tracking more. See the song to me. See the car run this thing with the back body, so body. See the vibe to the tune, we move to the group, the bust down. Show me your head. Make wanna start to the break your body, the wine from the front to the center. See the bust to the good. Show me your girl.
Well, I was hearing some light applause. I think we can do it better for them. The Association of Ghana Industries, of which the chairman, Mike Bukesh Takwani, serves as vice president, have a heavy presence here, led by their president, Mr. Seth Chum Akwabwa. Shall we do a big round of applause in welcoming him? We're very grateful to the whole team from the Association of Ghana Industries for the massive support. Honorable Ministers of State, Members of Parliament, areas of our country, we like to refer to him as Udio Opio, which means when you say it, you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce you to a son of the soil who many years ago as a young man also dreamt of having a future. His own role in helping in bending and moving the wheels of our beloved nation, Ghana. As fate would have of representing the people from Parliament, people from various organizations, and most importantly, representing the people from the highest seat of service, which is the presidency of Ghana. Today, he comes here with a message of hope, a message of cooperation, and a message to invigorate and also energize all of us to look forward to ensuring that our country becomes the industrialized nation and the hub of strategic planning, and a message that will others in industry to significant but African continent. Good people of Ghana, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, with great pleasure, I welcome the Commander-in-Chief, President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Thank you. Kindly resume your. His Royal Majesty Nene Osuagbo Jamna the 12th, Chief and President of the Ningo Traditional Council. His Majesty Nene Tetewaka, the 3rd Paramount Chief of Pram Pram, the Group Chairman of B5 Plus, Mr. Mike Takwani, and his spouse, Ministers of State here present, members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, CEOs of various institutions, management and staff of B5 Plus, members of the security agency, friends from the media, invited ladies and gentlemen. Today marks more than the expansion of Ghana's industrial ambition. 5 Plus is not an isolated investment. It is part of a broader dependence on raw material exports to value-added in steel consumption is a strong indicator of industrial development. Across emerging economies, per capita steel consumption rises in tandem with infrastructural urbanization and industrial expansion. Ghana's annual steel demand is estimated at over 1.2 million metric tons, driven mainly by construction, energy infrastructure, mining, and manufacturing. Historically, a significant has been met through importation, and which have placed pressure on our foreign exchange reserve. Exchange to improve our trade balance. Exceeding 3 trillion is gradually opening up for intra-African trade. Steel products manufactured here in Ningo can serve the ECOWAS construction markets, projects, mining operations in West Africa, cement and mineral processing industries across the whole sub-region. Instead of importing steel from Asia or Europe, West Africa can source from Ghana's manufacturer. This value industrial capacity requires raw material security. Ghana generates substantial volumes of scrap metal annually. Through construction, demolition, vehicle imports, and industrial activity. For too long, a significant portion of that scrap has been exported in its raw form. By restricting non-ferrous scrap exports, the government ensures local processors have priority access to ferrous is expected to boost processed metal exports by $250 million and to increase tax revenues through value-added tax, corporate taxes, and pay as you earn. Once a while is okay, you can't an audit. They've paid more than 30 in taxes and are looking to exceed 500. We are moving. We're exporting finished and semi-finished products. Government is investing heavily in roads and highways, bridges and interchanges. I have mentioned steel. Africa is projected to in infrastructure development. Africa alone faces significant infrastructure deficits. And bridges region. This is how infrastructure becomes industrial strategy. It's particularly relevant to energy such as, and I had the honor to sign the 24 and I know that B5 Plus Group is one of the first companies that will register under the 24-hour. Steel production benefits from continuous operation to reduce energy wastage, improve furnace efficiency, lower unit production costs, and maximize. With dedicated reforms, ability, domestic gas supply, manufacturing can compete beyond our allocation of 110 million Ghana in the 2026 budget. The 24-hour initiative program reflects our seriousness. When factories run 3 shifts instead of 1, productivity and exports expand. We've been engaged in fiscal reform in order to support industry and business. In the 2026 budget, we've abolished the COVID-19 to 20%, and we're reviewing the income tax and excise regime. The lower compliance friction and reduce digital systems. Industrial investors must compete on productivity and not navigate through unpredictability. Ghana's mining sector, gold, bauxite, and lithium require steel inputs for crushing and grinding, structural reinforcement, heavy equipment maintenance, and mineral processing. Mineral processing initiatives and our commitment to local content in mining, domestic steel manufacturing will become strategically important. We must integrate mining and metal processing into a coordinated at full capacity. Facilities such as mission to factory employment, technical engineering jobs, transport and logistics employment, chain opportunities, training opportunities. Industrialization deepens skills development. It creates metallurgists, mechanical engineers, plant managers. That competence is what exporter to a producer. As host of the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, Ghana has a responsibility to demonstrate that continental integration can deliver tangible results. Regional trade must move beyond speeches and communiques. Regional trade must translate into factories exporting to neighboring countries. B+ a practical demonstration of that effort. Ladies and gentlemen, industrial transformation does not happen overnight. It is a process, and it requires strategic policy, a stable macroeconomic, private sector confidence, infrastructure investment, skilled labor, and regional integration. So today's commissioning signals that Ghana is moving on the right path. Let me commend the board, management, and especially the staff of B5+ for your confidence and hard work in advancing this enterprise and raising Ghana's industrial potential. I salute the traditional authorities and people of Lapleku for welcoming industrial growth in your community. It is a positive for industrial expansion to continue to take place because it provides employment for our young people in the area. And so I urge those who are litigating the land behind here to resolve the issue quickly so that B5+ can continue. And so on behalf of the government and people of Ghana, to declare the second of the B5+ steel manufacturing facility duly commissioned. May this investment deepen industrial. God bless us and our homeland Ghana. I thank you.
A big round of applause.